$1 million. That was the price of my disappearance. That voice, cold as winter steel, sharp enough to slice through bone. It yanked me back from the nightmare and to reality. But reality was worse. I wasn't in his mother's office anymore. I was standing in my rundown flower shop in the middle of nowhere, and standing in front of me was Dominic King. He stood there blocking the exit, a dark silhouette against the gray afternoon light. His bespoke Italian suit was a stark contrast to the rotting wood floor beneath his feet. Rain lashed against his broad shoulders, but he didn't seem to notice. His eyes, once my blue sky, were now an abyss. Hatred. It radiated from him in waves, choking me. "Hello, Aria," he said. His voice was a low rumble that vibrated deep in my chest. "You look well, for a dead woman." The pruning shears slipped from my hand. Clatter. "Dominic," I whispered. My throat felt like sandpaper. Surprised? He took a step forward, 1 step, and 2 steps. He cornered me against the counter. "I've been looking for you. 4 years. 1,460 days. You hide well." "What? What are you doing here?" "Car trouble." He smirked, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. Fate, it seems, has a twisted sense of humor. Or maybe it's karma. He leaned down face to face with me. His hot breath fanned against my cheek. I smelled sandalwood and danger. "Have you spent it all yet?" "The money you sold me for." My heart constricted. He still believed I sold him out. "I didn't. Don't lie." He slammed his hand on the counter. The vases rattled in terror. "Don't lie to me ever again. You took the check. You left. You killed us." I looked into his eyes. I wanted to scream. "I did it to save you. Your mother threatened to destroy your career, to take away your inheritance." But I couldn't. The truth would only hurt him more. I swallowed the tears burning the back of my throat. "Get out, Dominic." He laughed. A harsh, bitter sound. "I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to watch you. I'm going to remind you every single day of what you threw away." He gripped my chin, forcing me to look at him. "And I'm going to make you pay. Every single cent." 4 years ago, in the penthouse, candlelight flickered as soft jazz played and the rain tapped gently against the window. "Aria." Dominic whispered my name against the hollow of my neck. His lips were searing hot, branding my skin. His hands gripped my waist, pulling me flush against his bare chest, leaving no space between us. We lay on the fur rug in front of the fireplace. The warmth of the fire mingled with the frantic beating of our hearts. Everything else faded away. There was only him. Only us. He kissed me, a deep possessive kiss that stole the breath from my lungs. He was everything I had. My prince, my world. "I love you," he murmured between kisses, his voice thick with emotion. "Promise me. Never leave me." I tangled my fingers in his thick, dark hair, holding on to him as if he were my lifeline. I looked deep into those blue eyes, drowning in love. "I promise," I swore, happy tears pricking my eyes. "Forever. We'll get married," he said, resting his forehead against mine, our breaths mingling. "Tomorrow. I don't care what my mother says. I only need you. I only need you, too." I laughed, a sound of pure joy. "Just you." That night we belonged to each other completely, body and soul. I felt every beat of his heart against mine, every ragged breath. He was gentle, worshiping me, as if I were something fragile and precious. That night, I thought I was the luckiest woman alive. I didn't know. It was the last night. The next morning at the CEO's office, cold, sterile, glass walls overlooking the city. "Are you pregnant?" The question sliced through the air like a knife. Mrs. King, Dominic's mother, sat behind her massive mahogany desk. She didn't look at me. She was signing papers. "Excuse me," I stammered. "I asked if you were pregnant. With my son's child." She looked up. Her gaze was like an X-ray, invasive and disdainful. "No, not yet. We're careful." "Good." She slid a check across the desk. $1 million. Take it and disappear. I stared at the check. The zeros blurred before my eyes. I don't want your money, I said, my voice shaking. I love him. Love, she scoffed. Do you think love will feed him? Who are you, a waitress with no parents and no future? You will drag him down into the mud. She stood up and walked around the desk. Dominic is about to inherit the empire. He needs a wife from a suitable family, not you. If you stay, I will cut him off. I will freeze his assets. I will destroy his reputation. He will lose everything because of you. She leaned in close, her perfume suffocating me. Do you love him enough to ruin his life, Arya? I froze. Ruin him? Turn him into a pauper. I remembered his smile when he talked about his new project. I remembered the pride in his eyes. I couldn't do that to him. What do I have to do? I whispered, a single tear falling. Vanish, she said coldly. Go somewhere he can't find you and never come back. She shoved the check into my hand. Go, before he comes back. I ran out of the office. I ran out of the building. I ran out of his life. I didn't take the check. I tore it into pieces and threw it in the trash. I only took my broken heart and a secret I hadn't had the chance to tell him, that I was 2 weeks late. Present day. Mommy. A small voice piped up from behind the curtain. I jumped. My blood turned to ice. Dominic, who was still holding my chin, froze. What was that? He asked, his eyes narrowing. Leo, my son. He was home early. Nothing, I said quickly, trying to push Dominic away. A cat. I have a cat. Cats don't talk. He released me, stepping towards the curtain. Don't. I threw myself in front of him, blocking his path. Don't go back there. It's a mess. Move, Arya? He growled. Suspicion flared in his eyes. What are you hiding, a new lover? No one, please, Dominic. Just leave. He brushed me aside like I was a rag doll. He reached up, his hand gripping the fabric of the curtain. My heart stopped beating. If he pulled it back, he would see. His copy. His blue eyes. My sin. Dingling. The door chime rang. Dom, are you in here? A shrill female voice cut through the tension. Dominic paused. He turned around. A woman walked in. Blonde designer dress, Hermes bag. Vanessa, his fiancée. She looked at Dominic, then at me. Her gaze swept over my dirty apron with undisguised disgust. Oh, she wrinkled her nose. It smells like dirt in here. What are you doing, Dom? The tow truck is outside. Dominic looked at her, then back at the curtain. He dropped his hand. Nothing, he said coldly, just catching up with an old acquaintance. He walked past me, not even looking back. Let's go, Vanessa. This place makes me sick. They walked out. I slid down to the floor, trembling uncontrollably. Leo pulled the curtain back and stepped out, wrapping his small arms around my neck. Mommy, who was that man? Why did he make you cry? I held him tight. He smelled of sunshine and milk. No one, baby. I lied. Just a ghost. But I knew. The ghost wasn't going away. He had found me. And the war for my son had just begun. Sound effects filled the scene as rain tapped gently against the window. The door chime rang, high heels clicked across the floor, and a child's laughter echoed softly. The morning after Dominic's visit, I was a wreck. I had packed a bag for Leo, ready to run, but my car wouldn't start. Trapped. I was in the back room helping Leo with a puzzle when the bell chimed, ding-ling. Stay here, baby, I whispered to Leo. Don't come out unless I call you. Leo nodded, focused on his puzzle. I walked into the shop. Dominic was there, but he wasn't alone. Vanessa was clinging to his arm like a parasite. She wore a white coat that cost more than my car. Oh, look, Dom, she squealed. It's so rustic. Dominic looked at me. His eyes were cold hard. We need flowers, he said, for the engagement party. The words were a slap in the face. Congratulations, I said, my voice flat. Don't be jealous, sweetie, Vanessa smirked. We want orchids, the expensive kind. She let go of Dominic and wandered around the shop, touching everything with a sneer. Is there a bathroom? She asked. In the back? I pointed to the curtain. But be careful, it's messy. I'll manage, she huffed, pushing past the curtain. My heart stopped. Leo was back there. Wait, I called out. Too late. A scream pierced the air. What is this brat doing here? Vanessa shrieked. I ran to the back. Dominic was right behind me. Vanessa was standing over Leo, who had accidentally spilled paint on her white coat. Look what you did, she yelled, raising a hand to slap him. Don't touch him, I screamed, throwing myself between them. Dominic grabbed Vanessa's wrist before she could strike. Enough, he growled. Vanessa looked at him, eyes wide. He ruined my coat. Who is this kid anyway? She looked at Leo, really looked at him. Leo looked up, terrified, his blue eyes wide, his black hair messy. He looked exactly like a miniature Dominic. Dominic looked down. He saw the boy. He saw the eyes. His eyes. He saw the chin. His chin. The color drained from Dominic's face. He released Vanessa's wrist and took a step back as if he had been punched. Who? He whispered, his voice shaking. Who is this? I pulled Leo into my arms, burying his face in my neck so he wouldn't see the adults fighting. He's my son, I said, my voice trembling. How old is he? Dominic demanded. The air in the room grew heavy, suffocating. 3, I lied. He's 3. Liar. Dominic stepped closer. He's 4. Look at him, Aria. He's 4. He reached out a hand, his fingers trembling, to touch Leo's head. Don't, I hissed, backing away. Is he mine? Dominic asked. The question hung in the air, a guillotine waiting to drop. No. I lied again. His father is... Don't you dare lie to me, Dominic roared. Look at him. He has my face, he has my eyes. Vanessa gasped. She looked between Dominic and Leo. The realization hit her. Oh my God, she whispered. He's yours. You have a bastard child with the flower girl. She looked at me with pure hatred. You little schemer, she spat. You hid him to trap Dom later, didn't you? You wanted child support. I wanted nothing, I shouted. I wanted to keep him safe from people like you. Safe. Dominic laughed, a broken, terrible sound. You kept him from his father. You stole him. He looked at Leo with a mixture of awe and agony. My son? He whispered. I have a son. You have nothing. Vanessa snapped, grabbing Dominic's arm. Dom, let's go. We can call a lawyer. We can pay her off. Dominic ripped his arm away. He didn't look at Vanessa. He only looked at me. I'm not paying her off, he said coldly. I'm taking him. What? I gasped, clutching Leo tighter. I'm taking my son, Dominic repeated. He belongs with me, in New York, not in this shack. You can't, I cried. He doesn't know you. You're a stranger. I'm his father, Dominic yelled. And I have more money than God. I will bury you in court, Aria. I will take him, and you will never see him again. Dom, stop. Vanessa intervened, but not to help me. You can't bring a child into our life. We're getting married. I don't want baggage. Dominic turned on her. He is not baggage. He is my blood. If you don't like it, get out. Vanessa paled. She realized she was losing him. She changed tactics. She softened her voice. Of course, darling. I just meant we need to think this through. We can't just snatch a child. She looked at me, her eyes gleaming with a new plan. Maybe we can work something out. Dominic turned back to me. Pack his things, he ordered. No, I whispered. Pack his things or I call the police and tell them you kidnapped him. I didn't kidnap him. I gave birth to him. Without telling me, he countered. That's kidnapping in my book. He walked towards us. I backed into the wall. Leo started to cry. Mommy, I'm scared. Dominic froze. The sound of his son's fear stopped him. He looked at Leo's tears. He looked at my terror. He took a deep breath, running a hand through his hair. Fine, he said, his voice tight. I won't take him today. I let out a sob of relief. But, he pointed a finger at me. I'm not leaving. I'm staying in town, and I will see him every day, and if you try to run, I will hunt you down." He turned and walked out of the shop. Vanessa lingered for a second. She leaned in close to me. "You should have run while you had the chance. Honey," she whispered, "now I'm going to make your life a living hell." She followed Dominic out. I locked the door. I slid down to the floor, holding Leo, rocking him back and forth. The secret was out. The war had begun, and I was terrified. The next morning, a black sedan pulled up in front of my shop. It wasn't Dominic. It was a man in a gray suit, a lawyer. He walked in, placed a thick envelope on the counter, and said 2 words, "You're served." Then he left. I opened the envelope. My hands were shaking so hard I tore the paper. Petition for full custody. Plaintiff Dominic King. Defendant Aria Miller. He wasn't bluffing. He was going to take Leo. He was going to erase me from my son's life. "Mommy." Leo tugged at my apron. "Is that man bad?" "No, baby." I forced a smile, hiding the papers. "Just business. Go play in the back." Leo ran off. I stared at the legal documents. I had no money for a lawyer. I had no power. I only had one option. I had to beg. At the park, Dominic was staying at the only luxury inn in town. I found him in the park across the street, sitting on a bench watching the playground. He looked out of place in his designer clothes, surrounded by rustling leaves and happy families. He looked lonely. I walked over to him. "You served me," I said. He didn't look at me. He kept his eyes on a father pushing his son on a swing. "I told you I would." "Dominic, please. Leo needs me. You can't just rip him away from his mother." "You ripped him away from his father," he countered, finally turning to face me. His eyes were cold, but there was a flicker of pain behind them. "Do you know what it's like, Aria, to wake up every day for 4 years, wondering if you were happy, if you ever thought of me, while you were here playing house with my son?" "It wasn't a game," I cried. "I was surviving. Your mother threatened to destroy you." "And you believed her," he scoffed. "You didn't trust me enough to fight for us." "I was protecting you. You were weak." He stood up. "I'm not taking him today," he said. "I want to meet him, properly. Introduce me." "No. Introduce me or I call the judge and get an emergency order. Right now." I looked at him. I had no choice. "Fine," I whispered, "but if you scare him, if you make him cry, I will kill you." Dominic smirked. "Fair enough." We walked back to the shop. Leo was in the garden watering the plants with a small plastic can. "Leo," I called out. My voice trembled. Leo turned. He saw Dominic. His eyes went wide. "The angry man?" Leo said, stepping back. Dominic knelt down. He was eye level with Leo. The anger vanished from his face, replaced by a softness I hadn't seen in years. "I'm not angry, Leo," Dominic said gently. "I was just surprised." "Why?" Leo asked. "Because you look just like me," Dominic said. "When I was little." Leo tilted his head. "Do you like cars?" Dominic smiled, a real smile. "I love cars. I have a very fast one." "Does it have stripes?" "It can if you want it to." I watched them. My heart ached. They were perfect together, 2 pieces of the same puzzle. "But where did I fit? Can I show you my truck?" Leo asked, holding out his toy. "I would be honored," Dominic said, taking the toy with reverence. They played in the dirt for an hour. The billionaire CEO kneeling in the mud, making vroom vroom noises. It was the most beautiful and terrifying thing I had ever seen. While Dominic was bonding with his son, Vanessa was watching from her car across the street. Her knuckles were white on the steering wheel. "He's playing with the brat," she hissed to herself. "He's actually liking it." She pulled out her phone. She dialed a number. "It's me," she said. "Change of plans. We need to accelerate the timeline." "What do you want us to do?" a gruff voice asked on the other end. "I want the mother gone," Vanessa said, watching me through the window. "But it has to look like she ran away, like she abandoned the kid. And the kid stays. If she leaves him, Dominic will get full custody. And then Accidents happen. She smiled a cold reptilian smile. Make her disappear tonight. That evening after Dominic left, promising to return tomorrow with a real car for Leo, I locked the shop. I felt uneasy, like I was being watched. I put Leo to bed in the back room. "Mommy," he murmured sleepily. "I like the car, man." "I know, baby." I kissed his cheek. "Sleep tight." I went to the front to double-check the locks. Suddenly a brick smashed through the window. "Crash!" I screamed, ducking as glass sprayed everywhere. Wrapped around the brick was a note. I picked it up with trembling fingers. "Leave town tonight. Alone. Or the boy disappears." My blood ran cold. It wasn't a legal threat. It was a death threat. Vanessa. It had to be her. I grabbed my phone to call the police. But then another text came through. "No police. No Dominic. Or we take him now." I looked out the broken window. A black van was parked down the street. The engine was running. They were watching. Panic raw and primal seized me. I had to get Leo out. I had to run. But if I ran, Dominic would win. He would think I abandoned Leo. He would take him. And if I stayed, they would hurt my son. I was trapped. I did the only thing I could think of. I called Dominic. "Dominic," I whispered when he picked up. "Help me." "Aria." His voice changed instantly. "What's wrong? You sound—" "Someone threw a brick," I sobbed. "They threatened Leo. They said if I don't leave, they'll take him." "Where are you?" Dominic demanded. I heard the sound of keys jangling, a door slamming. "The shop. They're outside. A black van." "Lock the door," he ordered. "Get Leo. Go to the bathroom. Lock that too. Do not come out until you hear my voice." "Dominic, please." "I'm coming, Aria," he swore. "I'm coming." I ran to the back. I woke Leo up. "Mommy." "Shh." I put a finger to his lips. "We're playing a game. Hide and seek." I dragged him into the tiny bathroom and locked the door. I huddled in the tub with him clutching a pair of scissors. I heard the front door of the shop being kicked in. Bang, heavy footsteps. Men's voices. "Where is she? Find the kid." I held my breath. Leo buried his face in my chest. The footsteps came closer. They were tearing the shop apart. "Check the back." The curtain ripped open. Someone tried the bathroom handle. It rattled. "Locked," a voice growled. "Break it down." A heavy thud against the door. The wood splintered. I raised the scissors. If they came in, I would stab. I would kill. Thud. The door cracked. I screamed. Suddenly gunfire. Bang, bang. Not from the bathroom. From the shop. "Police, freeze." "No, not police." "Get away from them," Dominic's voice roared. More scuffling. The sound of fists hitting flesh. A body hitting the floor. Then silence. "Aria," Dominic called out. "Aria, open the door. It's me." I lowered the scissors. I unlocked the door with shaking hands. Dominic stood there. He was disheveled, his knuckles bloody. Two men were unconscious on the floor of my shop. "Dominic!" I threw myself at him. He caught me. He wrapped his arms around me and Leo, crushing us to his chest. "I've got you," he whispered into my hair. "I've got you." The police came and took the men away. They were hired thugs. They wouldn't say who hired them. But Dominic knew. I saw it in his eyes. "It was her," I whispered as the police lights flashed outside. "Vanessa." Dominic looked at me. His face was a mask of cold fury. "I know," he said. "She wants me gone. She wants Leo gone." "She made a mistake," Dominic said. "She touched what is mine." He turned to his driver. "Take Aria and Leo to the hotel, the penthouse suite. Put guards at the door. No one gets in or out without my permission." "Where are you going?" I asked, grabbing his arm. "I have a fiancé to visit," he said. The word fiancé sounded like a death sentence. "Dominic, don't kill her," I pleaded. "Not for her sake, but for his." "I won't kill her," he promised. "Death is too easy." He walked away into the night. I watched him go. He wasn't the boy I loved anymore. He was a king going to war. And for the first time in 4 years, I felt safe. The penthouse suite at the Grand Hotel was larger than my entire house. It had floor-to-ceiling windows, velvet furniture, and a security guard standing outside the door like a statue. It was a golden cage. "Wow!" Leo exclaimed, running around the living room. "Look at the TV. It's huge." I sat on the edge of the sofa hugging myself. I was safe from Vanessa's thugs, but I was trapped with Dominic. And frankly, I didn't know which was more dangerous. The door beeped. Dominic walked in. He had changed his clothes. He wore a fresh suit, but his eyes were still dark with the violence of the night before. He looked at Leo playing. Then he looked at me. "Are you hungry?" he asked. "I'm not hungry," I said. "I want to go home." "You don't have a home," he countered, pouring himself a drink. "Your shop is a crime scene. Your apartment is compromised. You stay here." "For how long?" "Until I say so." He walked over to me, handing me a glass of water. "Drink," he ordered. I took it, our fingers brushing. A spark shot through me. I pulled away quickly. "What did you do to Vanessa?" I asked. Dominic took a sip of his whiskey. "I broke the engagement. Publicly. She won't let you go that easily. She has no choice. I threatened to release the security footage of her men attacking you. She's on a plane to Paris as we speak." I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. She was gone, but the tension in the room didn't dissipate. It grew thicker. Dominic sat down next to me. Too close. "Now," he said, turning his body towards me, "it's time for the truth, the real truth. I told you the truth. You told me half-truths." He reached out and tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. His touch was electric. "Why did you leave Aria?" "Really, I told you. Your mother. My mother is dead." He cut me off. I froze. "What?" "She died 2 years ago. Stroke." I stared at him. The woman who ruined my life was gone. "I didn't know," I whispered. "I found her journals." Dominic said, his voice dropping. "After the funeral, I read them. She wrote about a check, $1 million, to get rid of the gold digger." He looked at me, his eyes searching mine. "But the bank records show the check was never cashed." I looked down at my hands. "So you didn't take the money," he concluded. "You left with nothing. Why, because she threatened you?" I confessed, the words finally spilling out. "She said she would disown you, cut you off, ruin your reputation. I couldn't let you lose everything because of me." Dominic was silent. Then he laughed, a bitter, broken sound. "Everything." He stood up, pacing the room. "You thought money was everything? You thought the company was everything." He turned to me, his face twisted in anguish. "You were everything. I would have lived in a cardboard box with you. I didn't care about the money." He stormed over to me, grabbing my shoulders, pulling me up. "You made the choice for me," he shouted. "You decided I was too weak to handle it. You decided to be a martyr." "I was scared," I yelled back. "I was 22, I was pregnant and alone, and she was terrifying." "And now," he pulled me closer, his grip tightening. "Are you still scared?" "Yes, good." He pushed me backward. I stumbled, falling onto the velvet sofa. Dominic loomed over me, bracing his hands on either side of my head. He trapped me. "You owe me Aria," he whispered, his face inches from mine. "You owe me 4 years. You owe me my son. And you owe me." His gaze dropped to my lips. "This." He kissed me. It wasn't like the kiss in the shop. That was anger. This was hunger. He kissed me like he wanted to devour me, like he wanted to breathe my air. I tried to push him away, but my hands just fisted in his shirt. I missed him. God, I missed him. His weight pressed me into the cushions, his knee wedged between my legs. The friction was maddening. "Dominic!" I gasped against his mouth. "Leo." "He's asleep," Dominic murmured, biting my lower lip. "In the bedroom. Soundproof walls." His hand slid up my thigh under my skirt. His touch was hot, possessive. "You still want me?" He accused, his thumb brushing my skin. "Your body remembers." "Stop." I pleaded weakly. Make me, he challenged. He kissed down my neck, finding the sensitive spot under my ear. I arched my back involuntarily. See? He growled. You're mine. You never stopped being mine. For a moment I wanted to give in, to let him take me, to forget the pain and the lies. But then my phone rang. It was in my pocket, vibrating against my hip. Dominic groaned, resting his forehead against mine. Don't answer it, he commanded. It might be important. I pushed him back. Please. He pulled away, looking frustrated and aroused. He stood up, adjusting his suit. I pulled out my phone. Unknown number. I answered. Hello, Ms. Miller? A strange voice. This is St. Jude's Hospital. My heart stopped. Yes. We have a patient here, a Mr. Thomas Miller. He claims to be your father. He's been in a car accident. I dropped the phone. My father. My father died 10 years ago. Aria. Dominic asked, seeing my face. What is it? My father. I whispered. They said my father is in the hospital. That's impossible. Dominic frowned. Your father is dead. I know. But a realization hit me. A cold, terrifying realization. Unless, I looked at Dominic. Unless your mother lied about that too. We rushed to the hospital. Dominic drove like a madman. We found the room. A man was lying in the bed, bandaged and bruised. He looked old, worn, but I recognized him. The eyes, the nose. It was him. Dad, I whispered. The man opened his eyes. He looked at me. Then he looked at Dominic. You found her, he rasped to Dominic. I froze. You know him? Dominic looked confused. I've never seen this man in my life. Liar. My father coughed. Your family, the Kings, they paid me to stay dead, to stay away from Aria. I looked at Dominic. Is this true? I demanded. No, I swear. Dominic looked horrified. Aria, I didn't know. Your mother knew, my father said, and she left instructions. For him. He pointed a shaking finger at Dominic. The trust fund. It unlocks only if he marries someone else. Dominic went pale. The trust, he muttered. The condition. He looked at me. My inheritance, he said slowly. I only get full control of the company if I marry a woman approved by the board. Vanessa. So that's why I stepped back. That's why you were marrying her. For the money. No, I didn't care about the money. I thought you were gone. But now I'm here. I said, tears streaming down my face. And if you choose me, you lose the company. Again. Dominic looked at me, then at my father, then at the door. He was trapped. Again. Dominic, I said. Go. Aria. Go. I screamed. Go be a king. Leave us alone. He looked at me one last time. His eyes were full of pain. Then he turned and walked out. I collapsed into the chair next to my father's bed. The secret heir was Leo, but the secret victim was Dominic, and he had just chosen his crown over his heart. Or so I thought. Rain tapped softly against the hospital window. The heart monitor beeped in steady rhythm. Footsteps echoed down the empty hallway, and a phone on the table vibrated as if trying to break the silence. I watched Dominic walk out the door, and my heart shattered for the second time in my life. He left. My father rasped from the bed. Just like I told you he would. Kings don't marry peasants, Aria. Be quiet, I snapped, wiping my tears. You sold me. You let me believe you were dead for 10 years. You don't get to have an opinion? My father closed his eyes, shame finally silencing him. I sat there for an hour, numb. My phone buzzed. A text from Vanessa. Meet me at the hotel lobby, now, or I send the police to your father's room. I know about his fake death certificate. That's fraud, honey. I stared at the screen. She was relentless. I stood up. I had to protect my father even if he didn't deserve it. And I had to protect Leo. I'll be back, I told the nurse. I walked into the lobby of the Grand Hotel. Vanessa was sitting on a velvet sofa sipping a martini. She looked triumphant. You're late? She smirked. What do you want, Vanessa? I want you gone, she said simply. Dom is confused. He thinks he loves you, but he needs the company. He needs the money, and he can only have that with me. She slid a plane ticket across the table. One way to London. Leave tonight? Take the brat. Take your father. Just go. I looked at the ticket. And if I don't, then I destroy your father, I destroy your shop, and I make sure Dom hates you forever. How? I'll tell him you knew about the trust fund. She smiled cruelly. I'll tell him you came back to blackmail him. He's already suspicious. It won't take much to tip him over the edge. I wanted to slap her. I wanted to scream. But before I could move, a shadow fell over us. Is that right? A deep, cold voice. Dominic. He was standing behind the sofa. He wasn't wearing his suit jacket. His tie was gone. His shirt was unbuttoned at the collar. He looked like a man who had walked through fire. Vanessa jumped up, spilling her drink. Dom, I was just threatening the mother of my child. Dominic finished walking around the sofa to stand next to me. He didn't look at me. He looked at Vanessa. You think I care about the trust fund? He asked quietly. You have to, Vanessa cried. It's billions, Dom. It's your legacy. My legacy. Dominic said, reaching out and taking my hand. His grip was iron strong. It's standing right here. He looked at me then. His blue eyes were clear, certain. I went to see my lawyers, he told me. I signed the papers. What papers? I whispered. I renounced the inheritance, he said. I gave it up, all of it. The company, the trust, the title. Vanessa gasped. You're lying. You wouldn't. It's done, Dominic said. I am no longer the CEO of King Enterprises. I am just Dominic. He squeezed my hand. I chose you, Aria. 4 years ago, I didn't have a choice. Today I do. And I choose you. I choose Leo. I choose us. I stared at him. He gave it up. He gave up everything. Dominic. Tears streamed down my face. You're broke. He laughed. A real genuine laugh. Well, I have my personal savings. I'm not destitute. But yes, compared to yesterday, I'm poor. He wiped a tear from my cheek. Does that matter to you? No. I threw my arms around his neck. No, I love you. I don't care if we live in a tent. He kissed me, right there in the lobby. It wasn't a punishment kiss. It wasn't a desperate kiss. It was a promise. I love you, he whispered against my lips. I'm sorry it took me so long to come back. This is touching. Vanessa sneered, her face twisted in rage. Truly, but you're forgetting something, Dom. The board won't just let you walk away. And my father. He will destroy you. Dominic pulled back, keeping his arm around my waist. Your father is currently being investigated by the SEC, he said calmly. Vanessa froze. What? I didn't just resign. Dominic smirked. I handed over the files. Decades of embezzlement, fraud, money laundering. Your family is finished, Vanessa. Vanessa stumbled back. You bastard. Security, Dominic called out. 2 guards approached. Ms. Vanessa is leaving, Dominic said. Ensure she finds her way to the police station. They have some questions for her. Vanessa screamed as she was dragged away. I'll kill you, both of you. The lobby fell silent. Dominic looked at me. He looked tired but lighter. So, he said, I'm unemployed, and I have a very angry ex-fiancé. Still want me? Always, I said. Good, because I have one more stop to make. Where? To meet my son, properly. We drove back to the shop. Leo was waiting with Mrs. Baker. When he saw Dominic, he hid behind her legs. Dominic knelt down in the dirt. He didn't care about his expensive pants. Hi, Leo, he said softly. Leo peeked out. Are you the bad man? No. Dominic shook his head. I'm your dad. Leo's eyes went wide. He looked at me. Mommy, is he my dad? Yes, baby. I smiled through my tears. He's your dad. Leo looked back at Dominic. He walked forward slowly. He touched Dominic's face. You look like me. I do. Dominic's voice cracked. And I'm so happy to meet you. Leo hesitated, then threw himself into Dominic's arms. Dominic caught him. He buried his face in Leo's small shoulder and wept. The great Dominic King, crying in a flower shop garden. I watched them, my heart full. We had lost 4 years. We had lost money. We had lost status. But we had found each other. 6 months later, the air was filled with the sounds of construction hammers, pounding saws slicing through wood, and a soft bell chiming in the background. The flower shop was expanding. Dominic wasn't wearing a suit. He was wearing jeans and a t-shirt covered in sawdust. He was building a new display shelf. Higher on the left, I directed, holding a level. You're bossy. He grumbled, but he was smiling. I'm the owner. I reminded him. You're just the... What are you again? The free labor. He kissed my nose. Leo ran in holding a drawing. Daddy, look, I drew a car. That's amazing, buddy. Dominic picked him up. Is it fast? Super fast. We were happy. We weren't billionaires anymore, but we were happy. Dominic,